Welcome to Gray Overload. We are repurposing or rebuilding a machine. These are the parts from my friends that I just upgraded. If you haven't checked that out, that's a 5900x 3D build. But here we have his old 5900X, and then we'll be putting in some memory that he had there, and then I have a 2TB 990 Pro SSD. There is a 6700 here that'll be added in for the graphics cards. That was my old card. Then we have the cooler here, which is the Noctua NH-U14S, as well as the RRM750e by Corsair. And we are going to be building in this case here, which is the LianLi LANCOOL 216. So got a great deal. I was at MicroCenter, and that's where I picked up a lot of this stuff. So good price, and I figured, well, I got to test this out anyways, or I got to build this machine anyways. So why don't we get a good setup and go from there? So we have memory will be started first here. We'll throw that in. The CPU's already in. If you're curious about getting this CPU in, I already did a build of this machine back in the day. This motherboard is, I kind of hate how these boards go, but this motherboard is the Asus, what is it here? It's Asus STRIX, what do we got there? Asus STRIX x570e Gaming Wi-Fi 2. So that's what it is. Now let's try to put these sticks of RAM in. These are like DDR4. What were they? DDR4. Let's see. Can that actually pop up? 3800 memory, CL14 on them. So this should all just pop right in. There we go. Operating behind the camera is never the easiest, but must be done. And that is unplugged. There we go, they got the memory there. I'm gonna throw the NVMe drive in next. I don't know how that cooler is gonna sit, but we gotta put the cooler on as well. And the cooler I think has a slight modification, or we have to take some stuff off because of the Asus or the Noctua bracket. So this, I like that latch. I mean, super simple. It's latched on, right? Not coming off. And there we go. We can just then screw this all right back on, and that is that. And yeah, this build is for somebody, so it's, well, it is a rebuild. At least it's going to be used. Another friend can use an upgrade, so that's what I like to do. Is if you are somebody that likes to upgrade their machines a lot, or use some new stuff, definitely go and repurpose your old machines, not just throw them out. I know Microsoft would like it if you just threw everything out all the time, but that's not something I like to see at all. So then this Noctua install here, let's make sure I get it right, because it's been a while since I've installed a Noctua fan. But this one has only got one fan on it, as you can tell, and from that we will from that one fan we can always add another one. That's where I was going to. And it does come with, so here's the box of stuff if you care. It comes with all the clips, everything else. We'll use the thermal paste. It comes with, also the beautiful fans as well. But you do need to take this off. And so I'm using the tools that were supplied, which is, you know, I'm glad that they do supply the tools, but I could actually use the screwdriver I have. That would probably be a little bit easier. And I would just keep track of these just in case you were to actually, you know, swap coolers and the coolers were to use something like this, even though this attach mechanism, even though even AMD's ones don't use this. However, I think, yeah, I think on the 7800, that that machine did, the cooler did have mechanisms for this. So let's just see here. Take that off. So that's all off. Then we have to make sure we have the AMD AMD parts. So they have them labeled AMD parts. Can you see that? There you go. So we got the AMD parts, and then this is the AMD brackets. Let's see. So they actually have the brackets labeled there. If it's not so shiny, it would actually show up. Let's see. Well, there you go. You see they're labeled right there? I'm actually shocked that that actually was something that you could see. So open up the parts here. And then we need these spacers. So the 4 spacers go on. And then from there, let's see. So we have the 4 spacers. And then we need to have the mounting brackets. This is east and west on there as well. So I don't think I'm going to do the offset. We'll see here. But this is the east side. So that would go, I know that this is, well, we should probably make this so you guys can understand east and west, as long as I'm doing this correctly. So they have the socket like this in their instructions, and then they have this bracket. Whoops, that's 7 mil. Even though, you know, this is why AM4 and AM5, and they're using the AM5 position. It's supposed to be like this here. So it goes like that. And we can get this started. So this is not in an offset mode. Offset mode can be used for, it's a 7mm to ensure optimal contact for AM5. On AM4s, they say it's if there's any compatibility issues. So and this is AM4, so I'm not worried there. But oh, actually, it says, man, I should read this right. So on AM5 and Ryzen. Okay, so see, use the offset. See what happens when you actually read all the instructions? Well, goes to show you. And this is because of just how the die is configured on there, right? This is a multi-chip on there, so this just is now on the 7mm offset. And I don't think this should interfere with anything. We'll find out if it is. Well, there'll be another part added to this later in the video, just saying, hey, I did this instead. So that's a 7mm offset here. And this is yep, so CPU's pointed in there. And then here we go for the CPU in this side. So the west side, see this. Whoops. There, missed it. Camera and my hand's in the way, and I missed that. So here we go. And then I'm going to snug these down, because we don't want that cooler falling off. That would not be fun. Of course, then I'll be getting a phone call. My cooler just separated on my computer. Help. Which, since they don't live close to me, will be a drive. So all we have to do then is add the thermal paste, and then we have to attach. And what I want to do before that is we'll just set this on. I just kind of want to see to make sure. Again, there's no thermal paste or anything on yet, and in fact it's not going to sit well here, but just to make sure that kind of everything is lining up, because we did do the offset, and this is a bigger cooler, so I just want to make sure that we're not touching, we're kind of got enough clearances, and it looks like that's where we're at. So and even this has a plastic thing, right? That's not going anywhere, so it looks like we got enough clearance here. And so what we're going to do, because this is Ryzen 5000, so again, what they said there, so in the instructions they tell you that you should put this and then put dots here. I don't know. We'll see if it does anything. I'm usually just a, more towards the center type person. So clean that off. And then what we'll do is attach it, because that's what it says. So you do have to take off the fan, and I'll do that off to the side so I don't drop the fan on the thermal paste and we cause a mess. So the fan comes off, and then I'll take this guy off, and then here we go. Let's get it started. Okay, that side started. And then this side, let's just, come on. Okay, so those are started, and then you can torque them down. So they say that you're supposed to do 0.6 Newton meters. Well, they don't have anything in the box, at least that I see, to actually show me exactly how much it is. So I'm going to probably go until they bottom out. Let's see here. Gonna keep doing this. There, that's bottomed out. And that's bottomed out. So, just so we can see this, does the GPU fit nicely in there or not? So the GPU will have a tight fit, but it does just fit. So this is kind of, let's see if I can just plug this in and then stand it up. So it's not, GPU's not all, there it is, the GPU's. But if you can see that is going to be a tight fit. But you'll take the extra cooling that you'll take off of that is probably appreciated. So this is a tight squeeze to get out. Thank you, Asus, for making it almost impossible. But there it is. And then we can just attach the fan again. And this will then be plugged into the CPU header fan, which I think is the top one. Actually, let me stop this and then go and verify. Yes, it is right up here. So that's on the top, and that's the top fan, or the CPU fan. So we just go to there, and we have that. They do come with a low noise adapter if you need that. Now, the fan's pretty quiet to begin with, so I don't think that anyone will want that, but it is there. So next thing is I'm going to start throwing this into the case. So I will be right back. Okay, let's get this thing in the case. I am finally back. Had to go take my kids to a couple extracurricular activities, but now that I'm back, I can actually finish this up. So there's one fan here. You want to make sure that you're not setting it on anything, and then align it all up and make sure it gets in there. So there it is. What's nice is that I think that center peg kind of locks on there. Let's see. That center peg isn't exactly as nice as I like. I usually like those center pegs to just have just something that you can actually stick the board on, and it just fits perfectly. But that one doesn't, and that one probably will not get a screw in it just because of where it's located. Well, it's going to be, I guess I could get the screw there if I took off the fan. That should be pretty easy. Let me make sure here. These LianLi cases, they actually come with a quite nice screw setup here. So it's got a case of just a whole bunch of screws, if you can see that. And yeah, I'm actually kind of impressed with it, with how they did this. So still got to open up the screws and get them all out here. But more trash. So from here, let's open up. Oh, I don't think I need any of that. But this case is configurable. If you guys didn't see that yet, you can configure this top I/O panel down along the side here. So I'll hopefully remember to show you that here in a little bit. But I was pretty impressed with that. And let me just make sure I got the right screws here. One nice thing about having all the screws is you got all the screws here, but the other not so nice thing is that they're all in one package, so it's not as easy to, or a lot of them are in one package, so it's not as easy to see what the case ones are versus fan and everything else. But let's see this. This should go through, and I'll find them here, and we'll go from there. So let's get these all in here. Yeah, this case has got some nice room in it as well. MicroCenter had, I mean, this is just one of their sales when I walked through. I was at MicroCenter, and they're just, it seems like they were trying to get rid of them. They were a really great price. So I decided, you know, it's good cooling from what I remember of the reviews, and that's what I like to see, especially as this computer is going to be doing a lot of work. So Make sure it has good cooling, good ventilation. And that's one thing I like to see in cases anyways. Especially if it's going to somebody you want the computer to operate the best possible for as long as possible without having an issue. So oops, there we go. There we go. And there's a couple more screws here. And one up here. And then technically the one underneath the fan, which I don't think I'm going to put that in. Just going to be a tight to get to, and I don't want to dent up all these fins on this guy, so we'll just do that, and then that should be good enough. So now what I'm going to do is probably put down this chassis fan, and this is actually, they got a nice long cord on this fan, which is sometimes welcomed. But so if you really need to, you could run it, you know, around and over if that's where it is. But what I want to do is run it underneath here on this fan and kind of along the side. Gonna zip tie this up so it's kind of out of the way. And then tuck it down because there's a chassis fan connect or header right over in the middle of the motherboard, so that's what I want to use. And that's there, if you can kind of see that. Kind of see that right in there. And what we'll do is we'll throw in the graphics card, I think is what it will be next. We'll do that, and then it's gonna come down to power, getting all the power hooked up in the headers, all the fun stuff. So I do like these iFixit tools. It's just once in this area, this does not fit really great because of how it's shaped. Works well and everything else, but that's not. So we got two there, then we're going to stick in the 6700. So we got this going there. It's going to go so that is all fits in there, and then we have to put screws back. I'm going to use the screwdriver we did to put in the cooler because, well, it fits a little nicer there. It's amazing how tight that fit is between the graphics card and the cooler there. There we go. That's all in. So then we got that. And we'll hook up power here. Let's see. That should give you a good view, I hope. So we got a couple drive bays here, and this slides out. This is a pretty configurable case. LianLi came with some other stuff in here. I don't know what it does. I think some of it's for GPU mounting, but I was just going to be like, just leave it the way it is. So what I'm going to do before I get this in is actually connect up the cables for this power supply, because I don't want to have to work, you know, in there. So get the motherboard ones in, and then this is, let's see, PCI, CPU, and this does take an 8+4 pin on the CPU side, so this motherboard does. I have not tried this board with just a 4-pin, which some people do ask, but I have not tried it. Let's see, that's just a plug. There we go. So that's all in there. I'm going to put the fan down. And I'm leaving the hard drive cages in here. I don't think they're going to need them, but I'm going to leave that in there just in case. And now I'm going to make sure I lined everything up, and get my screws over here and screw in the power supply. Let's see here. So just 4 screws in the back there. And you know, if you're building a computer first time, or you know, something, or you're just getting started, or you do like me, you've built enough of them and you still test the parts before you put them all in, I do suggest, you know, especially if you're building an Intel system with a integrated GPU, or these new AMD AM5s with the integrated GPU on the CPU, do CPU, memory, and then power as well, and then just plug in the, you know, power to it, and plug in the HDMI to the back of the motherboard, and just see if it boots. That could eliminate you having to take it in and out of the case and build it. It's just something I've learned over the years, because, well, I hated taking the computer in and out of the case over and over again. So here is the cable management they have already here. So we got audio, we got a USB, USB 3, USB-C, and then, oh, actually your front panel. So front panel audio, and then USB 3 and USB-C. So let's undo this cable, and I think the USB-C is roughly in this location. We have 12 pin in this location, roughly. And I'm going to try to get this wound up while I'm doing it. Let's see here. Audio is going to be ran to that side. We got 3.1 here, and then front panel here. So we're all lined up. We're going to need PCI and PCI. I don't know how I'm going to run this yet. Maybe from the bottom here, trying to decide how I'm going to run it to make it look halfway decent. Granted, they probably won't be looking inside the case, right? They're going to use this for work, but Still wanted somewhat cable managed, somewhat nice in there. And then these go all the way up. That actually looks nice. We got to make sure this comes up. And we'll put these two over here as well. We got to still plug in the front fans. In fact, let's see if the fans, I'm going to unhook them here. What we'll do is run them over here, and then I think I got enough. I hope I got enough. Let's see, otherwise I'm going to have to bring one back down. So I think the fan headers, if I recall, are right down in this area. This one should fit. It's this one that doesn't look like it's going to work. So in front here, you can bring this one in and around. So they ran it up just in case you had a fan controller. I don't have a fan controller here. I believe that's on the ARGB model of this case, and this is not. This is the cheaper version. But we have all that. Now we have to turn this case around. It's got a nice mesh to it overall. And let's see, so CPU here. Let's start. Hopefully my head isn't too much in the way. Gotta come on, there we go. That's snapped in, and then we have one more. Just the 4-pin, that's all you need. In fact, they kind of can come apart too. Let's just make sure that this one's really together. Well, it's not going to do anything anyways. But yeah, so 4-pin, and like I said, I don't know if this is going to work without it or not, but it does require an 8+4, not an 8+8, so, and not just an 8. I think so. I think I saw my ITX case only use a 8, but again, you're limited on space there. So let me take a closer look at this. How am I missing that? There we go. So, and then in the back of the case, it actually has, I think you saw those kind of cable managements right on the side there. And they fit quite well to keep that out of there. So you still have the bracket of two SSDs, 2.5-inch SSDs there. So there's that. Now, here's the USB-C right there. This connector goes right there. 24-pin right there. Let's see, what do we got left? We got to get underneath here and do the fans and the 3.1 and the front panel. So let's see. There's no really good way to have you look at this while I do it. You're gonna have to trust me. Heck, I don't know if there's a good way for me to look at it while I do it. I'll show you once I'm done here. I hope I'll show you once I'm done. Well, let me get a quick flashlight so I can see it when I'm done, and I'll be right back. Okay, I took a little flashlight there and was able to see everything. Hopefully that's all coming in, but I plugged one of these fans into the M.2. Now it's It's an M.2 fan header. It's just labeled that. So if I were to go into the Q fan control, I can just adjust that to be just a system fan. It's something they do. I don't know why they labeled it that, but because this only has 2 chassis fans on it, and that I want the back to at least be a chassis fan, and then one of the fronts. But let's plug in the graphics card here. Got to make sure that these are all lined up, because they're a 6-pin or 8-pin, right? PCI. Not the 12-pin on these cards. 12-pin high power, so we have that. I'll probably Velcro or something with this. And then let's see. Looks like we got all these extra wires here. I can kind of run these together, and that's pretty much it. Let me throw the power cable in here, and you can see it boot up. But we got this front panel connector. Whoops. And like I said, so this front panel just, whoa, not what I wanted to do. So this front panel, can you see it? Let me zoom out here. Oh, wrong way. So let's see. Might have to go back a little bit more. And then go up. So this front panel, you'll see it has a cutout here, and that cutout fits into the I/O. That's just up on top. And then that I/O can also be moved to the bottom, and there's instructions how to do it. So if you'd like that, that would be kind of cool. These fans are nice. I don't know how big they are, but I think they're a little bit bigger than a 140, I want to say. Maybe they are 140. But you can also remove them with thumb screws right there. It looks like it's pretty accessible. Nice case. This just pops on there. And so let's see, let's zoom in a little bit more. And then the back panel and stuff. Let's see what this looks like. The back panel just actually goes on. They actually have this that also pops in. So they got nice little feet, and it just snaps in. I actually really like that. And then there's a glass panel that just goes in front. So if I did everything right, which for sure did, right? Moment of truth, right? That's the big thing. Moment of truth. Let's see, what do we got? We got lights. We got lights. So we have that there, and it looks to be working. Memory's got lights. So there we have it. This thing is all put together. We got it with that ASUS motherboard, the 5900. Then we have the Noctua cooler in there as well. Well, if I know how to change or actually control this thing. The 6700 XT is in there, and then you can see the fans and everything else, which that looks pretty nice in there. Full mesh panel, and as you can see, the front panel there, and then we have I/O in front. Let's see. Nice little I/O, that's the panel, but that is the machine overall. Let me know if you have any questions on it, any questions building, but this is a little bit older build, just, you know, utilizing old parts that were from another machine and from an upgrade and repurposing it for another build for somebody else, which is always a good thing. So thanks for watching. Thanks for taking the time to help support Gray Overload and helping this channel grow. I really do appreciate it. Don't forget to share the video, like, subscribe, hit the bell icon, watch another one of my videos. It really does help out the channel. And until next time, God bless.